Hi, this is Gene Acasella from Port St. John, Florida, and you're listening to the Really Big Barbecue Central Show.
Start the game! Let's go!
We'll do it live. Okay. Well, do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
In a world permeated with barbecue websites under the control of tyrannical administrators, there was one man, a one-man army. He broke all the rules. He allowed his members to speak out, give their opinions, and make the website what it is today. Get ready for Greg Rempe and the Barbecue Central Show.
Live from Cleveland, Ohio, it's the Barbecue Central Show.
Welcome to the Really Big Barbecue Central Show. Hey now! This is the Barbecue Central Show, and we talk about important things that are happening in the world of barbecue and grilling. I'm your program host, Greg Rempe, and we originate from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio. It is the barbecue capital of the North Coast. All jazzed up to have you right here. If you want to jump in on the show this evening, you can do it through the phone call, you can do it through the email. Either way you decide you want to do it, this is how you do it.
You can get in touch with the show by calling 216-220-0966. Email Greg at the BBQCentralShow.com. On the Twitter and Instagrams at BBQ Central Show.
Anything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening coming up in about 12 minutes from now. It is the third Tuesday of the month, and that means we have a pair of regular visitors. One is a Barbecue Hall of Famer and a Barbecue Central Show guest Hall of Famer. The other one is a creator of a very popular online presence when it comes to live fire cooking. Also, I believe a Barbecue Central Show guest Hall of Famer, but I might be wrong. I don't remember right off the top of my head. I do need to search this. 12 days. I was looking for the 12 days of barbecue Christmas. And, of course, I'm not finding that. Of barbecue Xmas. Just going through the Tower of Power to see if we have anything readily available. No. I see somebody in the chat room was saying, hey, we need to record a barbecue rap because of my intro music, which, of course, is Run DMC, Christmas and Hanukkah. And while I don't remember doing any kind of Christmas rap, I do specifically recall many years ago dropping the 12 Days of Barbecue Christmas, which the guys at Hot Grill on Grill Action actually penned the lyrics. Sent them to me. We found a 12 Days of Christmas, like, techno track. And then it was myself and my three daughters, much younger than they are at this stage of the game. And we all lay down on the first day of Barbecue Christmas, and we just went from there. I think there was a case of cold Coors Light at the end. Very fun. I'll have to try and find that, repost it up on some of the social medias. Anyway, I'm off track. Coming up, in about 11 minutes from now, you have a third Tuesday of the month regular guest, a Barbecue Hall of Famer, Barbecue Central Show guest Hall of Famer, a cooking class instructor, a cookbook writer of prolific proportions, and the list goes on and on. Stephen Raichlen will be joining us. Then we will move to 35 past the hour, where the other third Tuesday of the month guest will stop by. She's the creator of GrillGirl.com, as I had mentioned, a hot little place to go and check out things that are happening in the world of live fire. Great recipes, great cocktails, always great gift ideas, no matter what the holiday season is or what time of year it is. always working on something new. That, of course, Robyn Lindars, her last appearance for the year, Steven's last appearance for the year. Then we will move to the second hour, and we have a couple great guests lined up in the second hour as well. The first guest, while the product and associated landscapes of this company have been one that has supported the show for a number of years on a sponsorship side, has also been a friend of this show ever since I found out about them initially. And over the course of that relationship, we visited each other when we're in respective cities. I've stayed over at their house to avoid high hotel charges while in Louisville, which I appreciate undyingly. And the guest tonight, while with the company since the beginning, will be her first time into the Barbecue Central Show jungle. I am, of course, talking about the vice president of Pit Barrel Cooker, Amber Glanville, this time. Yep. Noah many times, Amber first time. So looking forward to chatting with Amber. We'll get to know a little bit about her background and how that relates to any type of a live fire kind of growing up. And then everybody knows the story of Pit Barrel, so we will talk to her about the business side of things for 2019, anything new that's going to transpire here in 2020. And they also have some partnerships and other business dealings going on, especially with National Barbecue Association coming up in the first weekend in April, I believe that is. So very excited to talk with Amber for the first time here on this show. Then we will close it out. I hate to give myself daps, props, congratulatories, or whatever you want to call it. But I did it this year. A number of years ago, I said I was going to do a barbecue documentary of sorts where I was going to follow 3 different barbecue teams. One doing it at a very high level, like multiple 30-plus competitions. One doing it at a medium, let's call it that 15 to 25 range. And then one doing 5 to 10 or 5 to 15. And I had the teams picked out. And I did a really good job at announcing the teams. I did a really good job at following up the first time. And then I blew it. Months. Turned into quarters. Turned into the end of the year. And then I had to make that terrible, embarrassing statement about how I sucked as a host. Because the concept was great. The execution was poor. Failure of a segment. And I said I would never let that I would never let that happen again. This year, in the beginning of 2019, you remember, we had a guy by the name of Dion Blumenrader who had gotten in touch with me and said, I'm bringing a sauce to market. I'm starting from the ground up right now. Wouldn't it be fun if we tracked progress? So I had a conversation with myself, and I said, will I be able to go ahead and make this verbal commitment, but more importantly, can I actually execute it? We agreed to once a quarter. We have done it. This will be the 4th one. I'm no mathematician, but once a quarter means 4 times during the year. We will get the 2019 roundup from one Dion Blumenrader of one sauce. We'll see how the first year went. The sauce is out. It is readily available for sale. We will talk to him about that, where sales are, where projections are meeting actual revenue numbers, all this good stuff. And is he starting to recoup the layout? Because it has all been expense at this point. And now he has product to sell, seeding it out there, and so forth. So Dion Blumenrader coming up to close the show. Looking forward to doing the final quarter of the Barbecue Central Show documentary. All right, there you go. Now, you can follow me socially at BBQ Central Show on Twitter and Instagram / BBQ Central Show on Facebook. I want to mention this. And I'm not going to get into any specifics, and I want to make sure that if anybody else decides that they think this is a good idea, I'm telling you it's a bad idea. Today, I come home to a manila envelope addressed to me, return address from a different location, not in Cleveland, Ohio, and in it contain a number of documents. It seemed like a Deep Throat-esque type of affair. And I'm here to tell you this. I have a pretty good idea of what the hope was for. That I would open this package, that I would rifle through the letters and documents and so forth, and that I would get on here on the show and start recklessly talking about whatever was contained in there. But guess what? This is not a reckless journalism show. I will have no party, and I will give no audience to what you sent me. To the point. If you're going to send me a huge packet of documents, do me a favor and do you a favor. Don't take the bag way out and not put your name on it and sign anonymous. Put your name on it, son. Put your name on it. If you want me to give it 1 second of credibility and thought, if I'm going to talk about it on this show, it is not going to be by you saying anonymous and not putting a name on it. In fact, I bet you're listening. Pick up the phone and call in and say your name and what you want to do. 216-220-0966. I will preempt all interviews. There is nothing more baggy than sending people documents that you think you know what they're going to do with, but I'm not going to do what you think I'm going to do with those, and you don't put your name on it. Biggest bag move ever. Biggest bag move ever. All right, Stephen Raichlen coming up out of the break. I will talk to you quickly about Big Papa Smokers, the one-stop online shop for all things barbecue. Their curated selection of only the best outdoor cooking and grilling supplies will get you on the path to better barbecue results in no time. Everything at BigPapaSmokers.com has been Pitmaster approved by Sterling Big Papa Ball himself. From the award-winning rubs and sauces to the American-made grills and smokers, they got something for every kind of outdoor cook. 13 perfectly balanced flavors of seasonings and rubs, transforming ordinary meals into extraordinary. Simply marvelous. Also, the partnership with Big Papa. So you know they have, when you put them together, the West Coast offense. That's right. Winning and winning and winning over there. They also own Granny's barbecue sauce. So if you're tired of what's currently available on the market, you want to try something with a little different flavor profile that might trip the trigger, Granny's barbecue sauce is certainly luscious. You're going to want to check it out. Also, they got smokers. Did you know they got smokers? That's right. After you've got done looking at all of the other cookers, maybe you want to look at a Mac 2-star General pellet cooker. Big Papa Smokers, the exclusive Mac dealer, even offers special packages. Not a fan of pellet smokers? Take a look at the Old Hickory Ace BP, the only charcoal smoker that Big Papa trusts to put on his competition trailer. If you're not sure of what kind of grill you need, call them, please. Ask questions. 877-828-0727. That's 877-828-0727. Or shop the website, BigPapaSmokers.com. That's BIGPOPPA Smokers.com. BigPapaSmokers.com. We have the Hall of Famer, Stephen Raichlen, coming up out of the break. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Show studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by Butcher's Barbecue, makers of award-winning injections, marinades, rubs, seasonings, barbecue sauces, grilling oils. All of Butcher Barbecue products have been tested on the competition circuit as well as backyards worldwide. Be the pitmaster of your neighborhood and visit butcherbbq.com to stock up now. Always trust your butcher. And as always, I believe episode number 4 is out for Dave right now, the Butcher Barbecue Podcast. Subscribe to that. I listen to it. You should too. Hey, it's the third Tuesday of the month, and 2019 is rapidly coming to a close, so we race to the hotline and waste little to no time to get to Barbecue Hall of Famer and Barbecue Show guest Hall of Famer Stephen Raichlen. Hey, Stephen.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm absolutely fabulous, Stephen. Appreciate you making time, as always. And we are drawing near two of the biggest holidays of the year coming up here, and they will actually coincide this year as well, or kind of run over the top of each other. And, of course, New Year's is coming. Lots of great things happening. We can always figure out a way to take these kind of holidays and quickly mix food into them, because that's what we are on this show. We are obviously live fire lovers first, but we love food in general. We'll get to that here in a second, but I wanted to ask you, because I know it might have been a month or two ago, we had talked about Barbecue University and how you had quite a run over in Colorado, but you were picking up stakes and going somewhere else. Has there been a definitive location for what will be a 2020 Barbecue U?
Well, actually, we just announced it today.
Really?
We are moving to the Montage Palmetto Bluff in South Carolina, midway between Savannah and Hilton Head. Absolutely gorgeous property. You know, there are mountain people and there are ocean people. And I've always been an ocean person. It's funny that I've done 20 years in the mountains, but I am so happy to be back on the water. This is a gorgeous property right on the water. In fact, our first night, our welcome night, we're going to take people by boat to an oyster roast. Super excited about the new location.
Now, it's funny because I don't, of all of the Barbecue University revisions, originally it was like Greenbrier or White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia. Then was it the Broadmoor after that? The
Broadmoor, yeah.
Okay, so now we're at a new location. So South Carolina is at least a state that rings of some type of barbecue relation to it, or a barbecue mix. So that's also got to be a positive.
Absolutely. And the new school is going to be in a complex that has a lodge. It has a barbecue restaurant, state-of-the-art kitchen, a big 20-foot fire pit out back, which I cannot wait to get my hands on.
All right, so from a curriculum standpoint, and I know there's a lot of people that attend the Barbecue University that have done it year after year. It's kind of their annual pilgrimage to maybe get away to a nice resort, but also get in some live fire cooking, see what's trending with you. This is going to be a similar style event and a resort and all this, similar amenities or what people have come to used to?
Yeah, absolutely. So smoke and fire in the day, incredible leisure activities in the afternoon, and at night you tuck into luxurious rooms with gorgeous bed linens. It's the only way I can get my wife to come to Barbecue University.
Oh.
In terms of the curriculum, I'm doing a lot I'm working on a new book on grilling green, so vegetable forward, not strictly vegetarian. We'll do that being in South Carolina. Obviously, we're going to do pulled pork. We'll do mustard sauces, a lot of great seafood where we'll be. So it's, the world around the world on a grill, as always.
All right. Stephen Raichlen joining us here on the show. Can people start signing up for that yet, or is that still to be determined?
Absolutely. You go to barbecuebible.com, click on Barbecue University up on the right-hand tab, up on the right-hand side, and it'll take you to the landing page. And today's the first day we're open for enrollments.
All right. So if you're interested in that, or I would imagine, Stephen, that might be a pretty good last-second gift idea for your barbecue lover, right?
You bet. That'd be pretty neat.
No doubt. All right, so let's talk about the impending holidays. They're going to be coming up. A lot of us are a week or so away from it. And while it sounds really great to talk about it now, a week removed, or a week and change removed, and it's very motivating, and we have all these plans and ideas in our head. Once the time starts to draw a little bit closer, well, now the butthole starts to pucker a little bit, and we start to second guess. So let's talk about holiday tips and making sure that if we're the ones hosting, that we're not getting lost in our own party, and by the time everybody leaves, we're cursing ourselves, saying we'll never do that again.
Yeah, well, I've got 2 words for you, or 3 words: big hunk of meat.
Yeah.
Okay, that to me is the cornerstone. Either it's a home cured ham, if you, I guess you're kind of a little on the edge of that, whole beef tenderloin, a whole prime rib, something that you can cook fairly easily and that you can carve and share to a crowd. And then you fill in around that. That makes a wonderful holiday.
Are you a fan of, because I have many different thoughts and opinion makers here on the show, and some people say, okay, well, if I'm going to have a big hunk of meat, I'm going to charge all of my guests with the task of bringing a side dish, or Sal, you bring a brownie, and Stephen, you bring the mashed potatoes, and so forth. How do you go about all the other stuff that's going to be eaten as well?
Yeah, we're kind of do-it-yourselfers from start to finish at our house. But, that's not to knock the other the other method. I think it's great. We just, I guess, when we do it, we like to go the whole way with it.
All right, so are you a dual holiday celebrator? We have Hanukkah starting on the 22nd, obviously Christmas 24 and 25.
I'm definitely a Hanukkah celebrator. And this year, and I hope I get to it on my blog before Hanukkah arrives, but a couple of years ago, I was playing around with latkes, those potato pancakes we eat for Hanukkah. And I cooked them on a plancha on a charcoal grill, and I threw some wood chunks on the fire, and I wound up making smoked potato latkes, which were pretty amazing. So I know that'll be on the menu. My granddaughter has requested a brisket. Her mother is a vegetarian, so it's going to be a pretty challenging menu, but there will be brisket.
So are there? Well, let me ask you this. I'm not much of a religious studier per se, but there does seem to be a tie-in between the Jewish faith and brisket specifically. Is there a religious tie-in to that at all?
I think it's more traditional than religious. Brisket, it's a slow braised meat. Jews from Central Europe, at least, and I'm descended from Jews from Central Europe, we like that yin-yang of sweet and salty flavors. So brisket, actually, it's more at Rosh Hashanah, our New Year in the fall, but a braised brisket with prunes, with apricots, with dried fruits, with raisins. I mean, that's a very popular dish. This will be just straight barbecued brisket to go with those wonderful smoked latkes.
All right, and then are there any other things that the Raichlen household specifically will be enjoying this holiday season?
Let's see. It's traditional among Jewish people to go out for Chinese food on Christmas Day, so we will probably do that.
Really?
Yeah, because that's the only restaurant that's open, if you think about it, right?
Right.
We will do that. New Year's, I'm not sure what's on the docket for New Year's yet, but there definitely will be caviar, and I know you and I have spoken about caviar. Have you tried it yet?
So you have schooled me on the ways of caviar. You told me, Greg, don't get lost in this whole sturgeon caviar thing where that's $758,000 an ounce or whatever it is. Go get the salmon. The salmon caviar, and way less of a price point. It's delicious and salty and all this stuff. I have not honestly gone and gotten some yet, but it's certainly on the agenda here sooner than later. But you also had mentioned that you need to drink vodka with it. Is that? I mean, do I have to? Because I'm kind of not drinking.
Okay. Well, here's what you do.
All right.
In Project Smoke, my book Project Smoke, and on the website. Make the smoked hard-boiled eggs, okay?
All right.
Smoked deviled eggs. And then buy a little jar of salmon caviar. Find it at Whole Foods. You can find it, certainly if there's Japanese grocery store, it's a lot less expensive. On those smoked deviled eggs, a big spoonful of the salmon caviar, maybe a little sour cream. I promise you will thank me, and you will make up for lost time.
All right. Well, then I will put that on the to-do menu. Stephen Raichlen joined me here on the show. BBQBible.com, by the way, if you want to check it out. So let's talk about last-second gift ideas. Again, a little over a week away or so from holiday. So are you recommending anything, or is there anything that you would say, hey, maybe we're too far away from some certain items that just aren't going to make it? We've missed cutoffs. Things that you could make at home that would be just as good as something bought on Amazon or at a brick-and-mortar store.
Well, absolutely. Well, I mean, first of all, with regards to Amazon, it's still not too late to buy things like my suede grill gloves. That's a really popular holiday item. Smoking pucks, that's a small item that you can fit in a stocking. But we are great believers and fans of homemade rubs. And if you don't have time to order my Project Smoke rubs or barbecue sauces, make a rub. Make a Dalmatian rub, make a coffee rub. They're all in my books, A Million Great Rubs, books like Sauces, Rubs, and Marinades, or any of my books, really. Put it in a nice mason jar, customize a label, wrap it in ribbon. A homemade gift, for me, homemade gifts are always the nicest.
The first rub that I ever made in my barbecue journey was, and if I'm not saying the name right, please correct me in front of everybody, is it the 4-4 rub?
Yeah, the 4-4 rub, or Reichlen's rub, equal parts salt, pepper, paprika, and brown sugar. Still one of my favorites.
Yeah, I did it on ribs and pork butt.
Just be away for free. Why is anybody going to buy the books?
That's right. Look what we've done here. We're bad business people, Steve. If you want the recipe, go and buy the book. We're going to edit that out and post. No, don't worry about it. All right, so
gift to you all.
All right, so let's talk about things that we or you have predicted and or thought might trend up here in 2019. Let's go ahead and have a look back as we're a couple weeks away from 2020. I'm going to give you some of what you thought in the beginning of the year was going to be a trend, and then you tell me if it was a hit or a miss or whatever you think. First one on the list was brisket where you least expect it.
Absolutely, and perfect proof of that. I am down in Miami, which is a great town, but not a barbecue town at all. We just got, about 2 months ago, hometown barbecue direct from Red Hook, Brooklyn. Oh. Billy Durney is doing amazing brisket down here in Miami, so we have become a barbecue town. But not just here in the United States. As you know, I do a lot of work in Italy. I do a lot of work in Montreal. And in both of those places, you can get terrific American-style brisket. So, brisket all over Planet Barbecue.
All right, number 2 was grills go green.
Okay, well, grilling grows green, and that's a big trend that's continuing. And what I mean by that is a lot more grilled vegetables, meals where your meat might just be a condiment rather than the big hulking thing in the center of the plate. Vegan barbecue. In the past year, let's see, I have made a watermelon ham, which was pretty good. That's from a guy named Will Horowitz, a restaurateur and author in New York City. Mm-hmm. Discovered some great vegan restaurants. Has a fabulous vegan cheesesteak in Philadelphia. So I think that's a trend that's going to continue.
The third one was wood grilling comes home.
Absolutely. With the advent of high-end wood-burning grills like the Grillworks, and more recently a very affordable wood-burning grill called the Kudu. But, people always frame the great debate, gas versus charcoal. For me, it's all about wood. Wood grilling, maximum flavor.
All right, well, I don't want to jump into 2020, but I had a follow-up question. I'll leave it go. Number 4, new rubs from around Planet Barbecue. So we're not just talking about nationally.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you're seeing this. There's a preparation from Egypt, actually, called dukkha. And dukkha is basically a roasted seed and nut rub with cumin, salt, pepper. It's absolutely delicious on grilled lamb. It's delicious on grilled squash. Rubs from other places, Spanish pincho rub, which is paprika, cumin, salt, pepper, very related to Moroccan rub, which think about it. Spain was part of Morocco a few hundred years ago. So absolutely, I guess you could call it the globalization of American barbecue or the American diet.
The fifth one you had listed was brisket in a hurry.
This was a dish that really intrigued me. It's how Koreans prepare brisket. What they do is they freeze it, slice it paper thin on a meat slicer, and then direct grill it in a matter of minutes. And this was one that I think people enjoy in Korean restaurants, but that has not really made it home yet.
All right. What about sriracha being the new ketchup?
Totally. Definitely.
Yeah?
Totally. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I thought sriracha was really big, and then everybody was saying it, and then of course there were the conversations of, are you saying it right? It's sriracha, sriracha, whatever. And I saw it quite a bit with especially the one with the rooster on the bottle. That must be a specific brand or something like that. And then it kind of hit an apex, and at least to me, it seemed to level off, and I thought it was going to take off even further. Did you think it was going to get hotter, or am I missing the boat here?
Well, I think what has happened is it got so hot that it's just seamlessly woven into the fabric of American food. And I don't think we think about it anymore, but, it's everywhere. So as far as I'm concerned, that's a trend that's borne out. Another interesting thing that happened is sort of new hot pepper. It used to be what heated up a rub or sauce was cayenne pepper. And then we went to hot paprika and now Aleppo peppers, Urfa peppers. These are all hot peppers from the Middle and Near East. And they're interesting because they've got heat, but they also have a very deep, rich flavor.
There was another portion of the sriracha take, which was gochujang being like a new chili sauce.
Yeah.
What do we think?
Gochujang is a Korean hot pepper paste made with garlic, fermented rice, very deep and rich in umami flavors. And I think, again, that has sort of just become part of the way we cook without calling a lot of attention to it. So,
does sambal fold into both of those as well?
Well, sambal is actually a cluster of relishes, some of which are hot, some very hot, some incendiary, and they're found throughout Southeast Asia, actually as far east as or far west as India, and the most common is sambal ulek, which is basically an Indonesian hot pepper sauce, Vietnamese. Funny, I was writing about that today, and I was evoking sambal, just as a great way to provide heat and flavor.
Let's talk about 2020. Do you have any one or two things that you think haven't really shown their face yet, but because you've been around the globe and planted barbecue, you think are going to explode onto the scene, whether it be first quarter or fourth quarter for that matter?
Well, in fact, I have my little list right here.
All right.
A few highlights from it. So one thing, I think the new trend that's actually a very old trend, the most ancient, is what I call caveman everything. Now, people know my caveman T-bone. They know some of my ember roasted peppers. Well, I think you're going to see ember roasting of everything, a lot more ember roasting seafood, ember roasting vegetables, ember roasting fruits for dessert. Even you can even take bread dough and lay it on the embers.
Really?
And throw it on the. Yeah, well, you probably saw me do that on the Project Fire TV show last year.
Right.
So another trend I think is going to be very big is vegan charcuterie. That is vegetables that are cured and smoked the way you traditionally smoke meats. That's happening already.
Well, I'll tell you what, Stephen, I am nowhere near on the food spectrum as most people. However, I can probably say I'm one of the very few that have one of the most prolific vegetable charcuterie makers right here in Cleveland, Ohio at Larder DB, by the way. And Jeremy Umansky is a mad genius, and that guy's throwing koji on top of everything. I fear for my life half the time, thinking I'm going to get koji on me.
Yeah, no, he's brilliant, visionary. I think you're going to see a lot more of these. These guys like Will Horowitz and Jeremy, they are actually being courted by big food industry because, if you think about the Impossible Burger, Beyond Burger went public and quintupled in price. Its stock quintupled in one day. So I think you're going to find the major food industry cannot get enough plant-based charcuterie and grilled fare.
Yeah, Stephen Raichlen joining me here on the show as we are drawing to a close. So, Stephen, let me take this time and say we're drawing to the end of yet another year, and the fact that you remain to come on the show once a month for what is now years in a string. The level that you're at, and the fact that you give time to the show and have conversation with me once a month for these many years, it's been just an incredible joy for me. And I know I speak for the listeners when I say we appreciate your time and the fact that we get to know a little bit more about you, and we pull some curtains back when we're able to just have this two-way street of conversation, and I certainly appreciate that, and I want you to know that.
Well, thank you. You do a wonderful job, too. And, wishing you and everybody out there super happy holidays, and talk to you next year.
All right. There he is, Steven Raichlen, right there. Laying it down. Vegetable charcuterie. I bet you didn't think you would ever hear that. Vegetable charcuterie. Well, that's right. You're hearing about it right now. I mean, Cleveland isn't on the cutting edge of much, except a lot of losing, especially when it comes to pro sports. However, we are pretty good at vegetable charcuterie. And by the way, it's delicious. This guy at Larder can make a mushroom pastrami sandwich that will blow your mind. Hey, let me talk to you quickly about the Barbecue Guru, makers of automatic pit temperature control devices. Oh, cripes. All right, there we go. So, if you have a bullet style smoker, or maybe you have a kettle style cooker, maybe you have a offset pit, bullet, ceramic, you get one of these Barbecue Guru controllers. If you don't want to take the time to learn your cooker, and by the way, I highly suggest you take the time to get to know your cooker. But after that, after you've learned it, you get a Guru. Put on the bottom that the little micro fan, and you put a probe into the main cooking chamber, and then at the controller you set what temperature you want this whole rig to run at. So let's say 225, and then the the probe in the meat chamber will tell the micro fan to pulse. Make sure it keeps it at that temperature. You can adjust as you want. Whole bunch of different technology if you want it, depending on whatever your budget is. And they have that grill, the Monolith ceramic cooker that has a built-in power draft fan already in it. So, hey, if you have a Guru controller, if you're already a fan and you buy the Monolith, just hook the controller right up to the Monolith. You're off and running. It's great. You can get a new controller if you want. You don't have to. Any questions, you call them 800-288-GURU. That's 800-288-GURU. Or you visit the website, bbqguru.com. Robyn Lindars from Grill Girl is standing by. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back to this portion of the show being brought to you by cookinpellets.com. Your number one source for quality wood pellets for all of your pellet-driven cookers. You can shop their selection at cookinpellets.com, COOKIN, cookinpellets.com, or Amazon.com if you want. You don't have to, but if you want to, you can go to Amazon. Lots of great flavors. Chris Becker is the man. Also, they do have 100% hickory pellets and a few other ones as well. There was that whole big hubby-de-doo, wubba-doo about Traeger getting sued for oil soaking their wood pellets. So Chris Becker's 100% wood pellets are indeed 100% wood pellets. Just in case you were wondering. He's not getting sued by anybody or anything like that. No, we're not talking about that. Hey, it's the third Tuesday of the month. Still, even after we just got done bidding Steven Raichlen, Afondu had a brain fart there. We race to the hotline and welcome back the other third Tuesday of the month regular guest, the creator of GrillGirl.com. It is Robyn Lindars. Hey, Robyn.
Hey, happy holidays.
Well, you have a great-looking necklace on you. You're all lit up. It's very nice.
I'm feeling festive.
Yeah, I feel like that all of a sudden might become a trend for some reason, but you never know. You're setting trends, of course.
Dollar store special. What can I say?
Is that like a battery-operated thing? You just push a button and wear like a necklace?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, right. I think it's way better than that Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer blinky nose.
I wouldn't wear a blinky nose to a party.
No way.
At least I wouldn't show up with one on. Now, maybe after a couple of drinks, I might put one on. You
That's
never know.
Never know. We'll see what happens. So we're talking with Robyn, and we are going to be talking some holiday entertaining. And, you're in not everybody's in the same type of crappy weather hole that I'm at here in Cleveland and, kind of the Midwest. And you get out west, and if you're in the mountains and elevation, you see some snow and crappy cold, blah, blah, blah. You're in a little bit nicer area, so you have a little bit more landscape to take advantage of during this time of year. You're not just relegated to the house. So to me, that screams of things like campfires and all this stuff. Is that what you're into?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I've actually been cooking on my fire pit lately. And so I think when you live in some places in the U.S., like Florida, Christmas time for us is like our nice time of year, and our sticky weather is in the summer when you guys have your nicer weather. Yeah. So, so I've just been all about getting back to basics lately, and I've gotten two entertaining occasions under my belt in the new house, and Thanksgiving, and now I just did a little Christmas party, and I'm all about the interactive happy hour. Where you put out you can also, if you don't have a fire pit, like I have an old Weber fire pit from 7 years ago. Oh, wow. I don't think they even make them anymore.
No.
Yeah. And it's just so fun. Right. So, or, if you have just a charcoal grill, you can turn that into a fire pit, as far as cooking, just take the grates off and put everything on a stick and there you go, So for kids, think about, or something that's kid friendly, think about you can roast hot dogs, and then for the adults, you buy some really nice sausages, and it's just very easy. And then you have a s'mores set up for dessert, and then you have heavy appetizers in the background for people who don't feel like roasting hot dogs, as there are some people that don't want to do the work.
That's so hard to do, right? Put a stick over a flame.
You would believe that, some people are like, I don't want to roast a sausage, or whatever. So then you have heavy out like a charcuterie platter in the background for those type people. And, and then it just makes it kind of fun and interactive, for being outdoors, when the weather is nice, of course.
Let me talk to you about charcuterie platters here, because we were just at a graduation at one of the satellite branches for Kent State University. My wife's an instructor for the physical therapy assistance program. I did a bunch of pork butts for the kids there, but one of the other instructors did this huge, elaborate charcuterie board setup, and it was delicious. But I'm looking at it from a different eye. I'm like, holy crap, this appears to be an incredible amount of work. Does it look worse than it is? And then are you making your own charcuterie at the same time, or is that something that you buy?
I don't think that most people make their own charcuterie. I think a lot of people, if you're going to do it on a budget, which most people will, you'll go to Trader Joe's and stock up on stuff, and you can get the job done pretty well just with a pretty good haul from Trader Joe's, and maybe supplement it with a few nicer ones. But no, I think a good charcuterie platter is it's so fun to arrange the different meats with the different cheeses, and you put some jams out and some, pickled vegetables. I get super excited about a good charcuterie platter.
Now, from a campfire standpoint, do you find that a lot of people just don't want to get around it because they don't want to stink, or they don't want to attempt to cook anything, or is it pretty easy to get people to gather around it and take a stab?
No, it's easy because people want to be around a campfire. It just draws people in, it's just, there's something just really nice about sitting around a campfire. It's just something that it almost feels like nostalgic of just, it's very relaxing and fun.
Fire's important. I think fire just draws people around. If you go into my upstairs when it's cold out, we turn the fire on because we don't have a wood burning fireplace, so it's a gas. But the thing puts out a lot of heat. And 10 minutes after that thing is up and running and the heat is really pumping out, all my girls are right up to the front of that thing. And it's like flies to a light.
Yeah, it's just so warming and just cozy. And Oh, and that party, I also set up a cookie decorating station, and I had it all done at the bakery at my grocery store. And I just said, give me some sugar cookies and give me the piping bags, because they already have all that stuff. And they sold it to me. So then all the kids could also decorate Christmas cookies, make s'mores. It's like a very kid-friendly interactive party.
Now, I don't know what temperature it hits for you to not want hot chocolate, but I'm just going to throw out a suggestion. Hot chocolate bar. So you have a big crock pot full of already made hot chocolate, and then off to the side, you have your whipped cream, you have some little mini stroopwafels or some chocolate chips. I mean, you just go crazy with it. So you put the cocoa in and all. I mean, kid friendly, right?
Yeah, and then the adults can put in like Rumplemints or schnapps.
Rumplemints? Did we just drop right back to 1992? Oh my God! Do they make Rumplemints still?
I don't know. That's like what came to
mind.
Holy
moly!
Like a peppermint something.
Yes, peppermint schnapps or Rumplemints. That was a huge
I don't
pull.
know. That was like, you guys, that just came from like the recesses, like back part of my brain.
Oh, trust me, I know exactly where that came from. It was a dark, dank bar. It was probably really close to 2 a.m. And you're like, I got to get that last shot at bartender Rumplemints to go. Boom, boom. And there you go. Trust me, I've been there. I get it. Now, here we go. We're tired. We're tired of turkey, right? We had a lot of turkey for Thanksgiving. I do think a lot of people actually double up with Thanksgiving turkey and Christmas holiday turkey as well. We used to do that quite a bit. But if you don't want to do it, and I know there's a lot of people out there that are going to be doing prime rib. I talked to Meathead about prime rib and Jess Pryles about prime rib last week. Let's talk about something completely different. And because you probably have them laying dead in your refrigerator right now or at any given moment, let's specifically talk about goose or geese and quail. I've had neither. I've almost seen a goose like in a butcher case, but they had just sold it before I got to see it. But I've heard it's got a weird taste. So let's talk about goose first and prep and flavor profiles to make sure we're doing it right.
Yeah. And I don't think we could. I've never seen goose, thank God, in my refrigerator, because it would take up like
you're right.
Amount. And I do have to say, the height of hunting season, and it's like
it's the Kaufman, the Kaufman's brother mortuary in the kitchen, right?
It's so much, like all of it, but God bless my husband. He gets really like 150% into stuff. So, so goose is actually delicious. And I just bought mine at the butcher, but my old place, I had a really good butcher. But if you want to try something different and also something that cooks relatively quickly and is actually delicious, goose is a good option. And if you can find one in your butcher, I recommend giving it a go. I mean, you can cook, I think it was like I'm trying to remember the weight of the one I did. I think it was like maybe 15, maybe less than that. It's like it's bigger than a chicken. It's smaller than a turkey.
Yeah.
So, but it's kind of like duck. Like you have a lot of fat that renders, and this especially, you have to be super conscious of the fat rendering.
Yep.
Yeah, it's weird because when we did it, when the fat, usually fat on coals makes for deliciousness, but goose fat on coals makes a really weird kind of aftertaste. So you want to make sure to catch all the fat. But that's how you get the crispy skin. But it's very rich. It's like it's a very rich poultry, but it's tasty. So if you're looking to do something different, goose is a good thing. And quail is actually pretty easy to find. And I had gotten exposed to quail because I did some recipe development for Manchester quail a couple years ago. And quail is like little delicious chickens. Like it is way better than chicken. It's delicious. You can have like one quail per person, spatchcock it, and it goes well with a rosemary lemon or like a rosemary citrus flavor profile, and you grill it and it's the bomb. So if you wanted something different, those are two good options. One year we did a tasting course. I think it was either for Thanksgiving or Christmas, and that a wine pairing dinner with 7 courses, which means we ate really well and we were shit-faced by the end. And quail was one of the courses, and it was everyone that was loving it, and such a great deviation from turkey or ham, just your standards.
And this is something that's readily available pretty much anywhere, quail, or it's a little specialty kind of a thing?
I think you can find it in most frozen sections. Fresh, I think would be hard to find unless you know people that do that stuff. But yeah, I think you could find it regardless, and it's just something different to try. It's always good to just branch out. I'm as you guys know, a big believer in trying new things.
No doubt.
Yeah,
no doubt. Robyn Lindars joining us here on the show. Recipes and other fun stuff, grillgirl.com. Let's talk about last-minute gift ideas. We're a week or so away from Christmas. I was talking to Stephen Raichlen about some homemade stuff, but do you have any last-minute for the procrastinators among us?
You can always get creative and do like a barbecue gift basket. And most things that you can buy, you can do a mixture of things that you find on like Amazon. You can still you can still get things like tongs or, some of your favorite supplies. And then you can pair that with like barbecue rub and some other kind of specialty things that you can get local and do things like, a gift basket or something that does show that you put some thought into it. I like doing homemade gifts like DIY s'mores, where you put the canisters with all the stuff in it, or make your own rubs, or finishing salts. You can dehydrate some lemon peels and pair that with some rosemary and make like a rosemary lemon finishing salt and put it in a cute tin, and you can or smoke some nuts. Things like that. Very easy to make some homemade gifts that show that you actually gave from your heart and didn't just buy something.
Right.
So
I get it. Robyn Lindars joining us. So let's talk about a couple of 2019 food trends or, flash things that happened over the course of the year that really kind of stuck in your brain as things that you think you'll remember here for the next couple of years. What are some of the big things of 2019 that you'll remember?
Well, I did just see the smoke fire release, and that's definitely been left an impression on my brain about the future of pellet smoking. I think that will continue to grow. I think all this plant-based stuff is weird, like these fake burgers and everything. I hope that's a trend that just goes away.
That's not going away. It's growing. It's growing. The companies are getting more and more, I don't know if they're getting profitable, but the revenues are continuing to drive up. Impossible Burger or Beyond Burger quintupled in one day as far as, their value. So I think what you're going to see is probably less of the burger stuff, and you're going to see more of this plant-based protein in a ground beef type form. And I think you will see it be a little bit more palatable or a little bit more accepted by the general meat-eating audience, because it's not being, I think where the burger falls short is, and this is why I think you probably have a feather in your craw on it, is it's like you're being tricked. They're marketing it as this is a burger, except it's not a burger. So now you're having a conversation with yourself about, well, it tastes like a burger and it looks like it's not no damn burger, and I feel like I'm being tricked. I hate these people. I love these people. I hate these people. But with the ground meat, the ground whatever version of this, it's taco meat. It's something you're putting in a casserole, and it has the same kind of mouthfeel, but it's not meat. And remember, what's the one thing to remember about all of this plant-based protein stuff? Don't be fooled. If you're looking for a healthier alternative and you think this is it, you are wrong, my friends. It's super processed. It's super calorie, all that crap. So
it's gross. I'd rather eat a cow and at least know that it's a cow and it have like 3 ingredients in it at worst than a burger, a plant-based burger with like 50 ingredients. A lot of them that sound like they came straight from like someone's laboratory.
Right. It's like a science thing. Now, it's definitely not meat. So if that's what you're trying to do, fine. But never be under the impression that you are making a healthier alternative. What other 2019 things? Anything?
I think we're going to continue to explore more like Asian profiles. I think I'm starting to see a lot of people really getting into stuff that used to be a lot more exotic. You'll see people like, oh, I made these Mongolian beef ribs, or, like bulgogi and stuff that used to be more Korean style barbecue, making it more mainstream. And I just think everyone will continue to kind of explore like global flavors. You know, I hope to see less traditional barbecue in my feed and more like out of the box stuff, you know, like let's branch out. I want to see, you know, not just ribs, but just different types of meat, different ways of cooking it. Just, I'm hoping, I guess this is all aspirationally hoping where I feel like people will be going.
Do you have one 2020 prediction that you think is going to take the world by storm next year?
I think that, you know, I am not predicting like exactly what will happen. I know that I feel like next year will be a major game changer for me. I think the industry is just going to do a lot of different new things. I think they're really going to embrace more women cooking, maybe younger people cooking. You know, obviously more millennials are getting into the game. So I think we'll just start to see hopefully a little, and not that there's anything wrong with this, but less of the good old boys club, but more just everyone embracing cooking over fire, with less of the over fire stereotypes that go with it.
All right. You can catch up with Robyn at grillgirl.com. She's got 18,500 followers as of yesterday on Instagram. That's at grillgirlrobyn. And all the other haunts on social media. You can follow her as well. You see her once a month right here on this show. Robyn, appreciate all the time this year, and I'm looking forward to picking back up in January in 2020.
Me too. I love all you guys. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Merry Hanukkah, all of that good stuff, you guys. I hope it was a great year, and 2020 will be an equally more it will be a kick-ass year next year, you guys. We're going to have a great year.
All right, Robyn, thank you so much. There she is, Robyn Lindars, right there. Did she say Hanukkah? I thought that was only relegated to, what the hell's her name? Who's the cooking lady that went to jail that hangs out with Snoop Dogg? Why can't I remember her name? She's kind of stiff. Somebody tell me her name in the instant chat. What am I saying? Damn it. Blonde hair, no personality, really rich. Martha Stewart, yes! Paula Deen? Come on, real Joey B. Paula Deen's got personality. I'd never forget Paula Deen. Who could forget her? I mean, she's no Ina Garten, but who is? Martha Stewart is the name I was thinking of. Hanukkah. That reminds me of the Saturday Night Live. Hanukkah. All right, we are getting ready to wrap up here. Go to the second hour. You were just listening to Robyn Lindars. Once again, her website is grillgirl.com. She's got a bunch of recipes. She also has some product reviews, gift ideas. The gift guide is out. We're still a little over a week or so I think we're still good on a lot of the shipping stuff. A lot of cutoffs that I was seeing for some of the food was the 18th. So head on over to grillgirl.com, check out that list, see what she's got. Maybe that'll jog your memory. Maybe you've got gift buyer's block. I have to go to Things Remembered and get my ornaments for the daughters that I buy every year. Other than that, I let my wife do all the shopping. All right, let's quickly break, and we'll be back to wrap up. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
By the way, Stover, I'm not saying that that Martha Stewart doesn't have personality, but she does not.
Andrew, you are not the host.
She does not have the personality that I find intriguing. It's a little dry. Thanks again to Stephen Raichlen for joining me in the first interview segment. BarbecueBible.com. Also, thanks to Robyn Lindars for talking to me this past segment about campfire eats, Goose and quail, last-minute gift ideas, some of the big 2019 trends, and the 2020 prediction. We're pointing to the second hour. Stick around. We'll be right back.